Welcome to the news update on AFRICUNIA television, bringing you updates from around the world from our studio in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. I am Deborah, Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. We begin from Nigeria. AFRICUNIA Bank has signed yet again another symbiotic partnership agreement with a multi-purpose cooperative and non-government organization, WEALTHFIELD Group International, to work together on AFRICUNIA Bank and Sparkle Bank AGRIC projects, which supports local farmers in Nigeria through training, seminars, education, and micro-macro business empowerment. The agreement states that AFRICUNIA Bank will economically empower WEALTHFIELD Group International through sustainable grants and adding its business proposal financially, take on various humanitarian projects and relief-orientated roles in Nigeria through the NGO to support local economic projects. And now, on the other hand, WEALTHFIELD Group International will promote and publicize the grant, as well as promote AFRICUNIA Bank and its sister subsidiaries across Nigeria through conventional media, social media, referrals, and mouth-to-mouth dissemination mechanisms, and also organize seminars and trainings across Nigeria and beyond, and monitor and supervise grants recipients to ensure their businesses run smoothly and ensure that majority of agricultural produce resulting from grants is repurchased and made available to AFRICUNIA Bank as sole and exclusive buyer. While addressing newsmen after the agreement signing, which took place on August 5, 2022, at the Nigeria's headquarters of AFRICUNIA Bank in Yaba, Lagos, the bank's executive secretary, Mrs. Madeline Winkler, emphasized on the bank's resolve to support massive development of agricultural development in Nigeria and Africa at large through training and empowerment of farmers under AFRICUNIA Bank and Sparkle Bank AgriGrant projects. And now, during these speeches, the NGO Director Protocol and Business Support Director, Mr. John Timbre, and National Project Secretary, Mr. Jonathan Efosa Ero, accentuated structures the people or people-centric NGO that brings out the wealth in people already had and its preparedness to aid the disbursement of the grant to farmers. And now we have members, representative of the WEALTHFIELD Group International connected with us in the studio. Mr. John Timbre, who is the National Director of Project Protocol and Business Support Solution for the WEALTHFIELD Group International, and Mr. Jonathan Efosa, who is the Secretary. Now, thank you for joining us on the news today. So tell me briefly, what is your NGO centered on and the aims and goals of your organization?
Okay, WEALTHFIELD Group International is first of all a multipurpose cooperative. Then it's also the NGO part, and then we have a development finance part, that's the consulting part. We normally say that WEALTHFIELD's target is taking wealth to grassroots through grassroots mobilization, inclusion, and empowerment. WEALTHFIELD has reach in over 17 states in Nigeria, where we have our base. So we have quite a number of indigent community people who are already beneficiary members, registered beneficiary members of WEALTHFIELD.
All right, and then, sorry.
Okay, you want to say something?
Yes. If I may come in there, WEALTHFIELD are people-centric in the sense that we have looked at the whole system, and what drives the whole system is people. So WEALTHFIELD focus on people, capacity building, to see to it that they meet their basic needs and take them out of poverty. So we are dealing with the grassroots. So we are taking it from the grassroots level and to become a system, and from a society to a community at large. So we have different sectors, as he has mentioned. And without saying much, WEALTHFIELD is all about bringing out the wealth in people.
Okay, now before we go further, how do you feel about the partnership the AFRICUNIA Bank and Sparkle Bank is offering to Nigerians?
All right, the partnership is a beautiful one. For the very first time, we had the organization talk about what they're into. And I said to myself, it's going to succeed. Why? Because they have shifted the focus from the bigger picture to individuals. Agriculture is a beautiful concept, and therefore everybody, the systems as a nation need that part of it to survive. And so bringing agriculture into the banking sector and reaching out to the individuals directly, they have cut off a whole lot of bottlenecks. And so therefore, the system is designed from the very onset to succeed. We are excited about it because we deal with the grassroots people, and we need partnership with this organization to reach out to those people and empower them to help them achieve their basic goals. And the people are also expectant. We have structures that have been put in place, knowing full well this partnership will form a collaboration within the two bodies to achieve this basic goal, which is people-centric. It is designed to succeed from the very inception.
And what structure of your organization put in place regarding this grant, and what are the strategies you've put in place to reach out to these people?
I'll leave that to John Timberry to respond to it.
Okay, we already have a beneficiary base. They are already there in the 17 states where we operate. We have state structures, we have local government structures, and these beneficiaries are already grouped into clusters of 1,000. So all we just need to do, get back to our various state heads, or get back, put together their executive committees, then they'll get across to the local government coordinators. The local government coordinators now will mobilize we call them CEOs or cluster chairmen. They will mobilize the cluster chairman. The chairman will reach out to their beneficiary. Each of them, there are 1,000 beneficiaries. Now, from our beneficiary base, which is about 1 million plus, we have 60% that are AGRIC based, farm based. So we are expecting to bring into this system, let's say 60% of our beneficiary base, and that would just be enough.
So is there going to be any form of educational sensitization for the farmers, or is it left to the states and local bodies you have put in place, you've gathered?
Normally what we do is that our project team will go around the various structures and have this sensitization with them. Then the local government chairman, or coordinators rather, they would center on reaching out in their own various groups.
And then to add to that, each of those states, we have a center we meet, we mobilize. The leaders are already trained. We train our beneficiaries and sensitize them about the importance and how to go about it. So the process is going to be seamless because structures are in place to handle that.
To add to that, we have already in place Telegram and WhatsApp groups at various levels, which helps us to disseminate information, whether it's media form or written form.
So what numbers of farmers are we looking at, or numbers of intended farmers are we looking at, and how feasible are these numbers?
Between 600 and 700,000.
Okay, with that being said, that will be all, Mr. John Tiberi and Mr. Jonathan Efosa. Thank you so much for coming on the news today. And now it can also be recalled that AFRICUNIA Bank had earlier signed partnership agreements with two other non-governmental organizations, that's New Dawn Humanitarian Foundation and Ishiba Development and Empowerment Center, NGO, in order to make disbursement of the agricultural grant to farmers in every nook and cranny of Nigeria very seamless. And now moving on to notorious terrorist leaders known as Abdul Karim, Fasa and Bembem were among the 35 terrorists reportedly neutralized by the military in Katsina and Borno states. Fasa went down during a series of bombing raids by the Nigerian Air Force in Safana local council of Katsina state. The bombing, which was said to have been carried out on Saturday with a mop-up operation on Sunday, also saw 7 of Fasa's men neutralized. A source familiar with the incident said following the raids, several of the terrorists not affected by the bombing fled the scene with gunshot wounds, while rustled cows belonging to their slain leader perished. The House of Assembly member representing the area, Abu Jahar Aruna, confirmed the incident to newsmen yesterday adding that it would make details available as they become clearer. According to him, the coordinated operations followed credible intelligence showing that the ISWAP terrorists converged in large numbers to attack Bama Township, which was liberated in 2016 by the military. He added that the first damage assessment indicated that multiple airstrikes recorded devastating impact as over a dozen terrorists were neutralized. And now still in Nigeria, the opposition lawmaker in the National Assembly have said there is no going back on their resolve to impeach the president, Major General Muhammad Buhari, retired, if it fails to address the insecurity in the country within 6 weeks. The lawmakers in separate interviews dismissed the reports that they had backed down on the plan to remove the president after the expiration of the 6 weeks ultimatum, handed down on July 27th. Meanwhile, a prominent member of the minority caucus in the National Assembly said the opposition lawmakers were watching the moves being made by the executive arm, as well as the meeting between the Senate leadership and security chiefs. Now, the ranking lawmakers who declined to be quoted, however, or refused to be quoted, refused to state if the 6 weeks ultimatum issued by the caucus would be lifted. And the chairman of the House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Benjamin Kalu, said the opposition lawmakers seemed to have agreed that the available time was inadequate to impeach the president. Away from Nigeria, in a packed 30,000 seats in Yano Stadium in Nairobi, Kenyan presidential hopeful William Ruto has been rallying his supporters. Speaking to the crowd, he said, "The people of Kenya will prevail over the deep state. The people of Kenya will prevail over the system, and we are going to have a nation that leaves no Kenyan behind." Ruto has based much of his campaign on the idea of taking apart the old political order led by Kenyatta and Odinga and offering a helping hand to small businesses and poorer Kenyans. Now, this is a section of population where the bulk of his support comes from. On Tuesday, as well as voting for the president, people will choose the members of the National Assembly and Senate, county governors, and members of the county assemblies. And now, meanwhile, Chad's transitional authorities and rebel groups signed a peace agreement in Doha on Monday ahead of a broad national reconciliation dialogue later this month. The agreement also included the participation in a national inclusive dialogue, and Qatar Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, speaking at the signing, called on groups that had not signed to join the agreement. Still on the African scene, in Somalia Sunday, a majority of members of parliament approved the country's appointed cabinet by a show of hands. Prime Minister Ezeh Abdi Barre, 75 members government, was confirmed moments after mortar shells struck residential neighborhoods near the presidential palace in Mogadishu. The quorum is 237 MPs, 7 MPs refused, 1 MP abstained, while some 229 MPs endorsed the approval of the new cabinet ministers. Therefore, it is approved. The Speaker of the House, Adam Mohammed Noor Mambode, said. In addition to Al-Shabaab insurgents who have been waging a bloody war against the government and the people of Somalia for 15 years, a looming famine will also be one of the new cabinet's priority. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, it's updates making the rounds on the foreign scene. Stay with me.
Do you have a clue? Best bank for me and you, where the interest is nice and cool. AFRICUNIA day for you. Trust is our virtue, cause we make it all about you. Our great plans are open to you. All you need is to make a move. Ooh, AFRICUNIA bank will give you more. You know the interest in your fixed deposits, it's more. Oh, AFRICUNIA bank will give you more. And you never go like us, we always giving more.
And now welcome back onto the foreign scene. 2 more ships carrying corn and soybeans departed from Ukraine Black Sea port on Monday. Turkey and Ukraine said, taking the total to 10 since the first ship sailed last week under a deal with Russia to unblock Ukrainian grain export. The United Nations and Turkey brokered the agreement last month after warnings the halt in grain shipments caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine could lead to severe food shortages and even outbreaks of famine in parts of the world. The Sakura, which departed from Piv Denyi, is carrying 11,000 tons of soybeans to Italy, while Turkey defense minister said on Monday the Arizona, which left Shrono-Musk, is carrying 48,458 tons of corn to southern Turkey. Ukraine's infrastructure minister Olesandra Kubakov confirmed both ships had left, adding Pivdenia, the third Ukrainian port included in the deal, was finally up and running as part of the initiative. And now moving on, China's military announced fresh military drills on Monday in the sea and airspace around Taiwan, a day after the scheduled end of its largest ever exercise to protest against last week's visit to Taipei by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. China's Eastern Theater Command said it would conduct joint drills focusing on anti-submarine and sea assault operations, confirming the fears of some security analysts and diplomats that Beijing would continue to maintain pressure on Taiwan defenses. The duration and precise location of the latest drills is not yet known, but Taiwan has already eased flight restrictions near the 6 earlier Chinese exercise areas surrounding the island. Now, still on the foreign scene, Hong Kong will shorten the COVID-19 hotel quarantine period for all arrivals to 3 days from 7, taking another step to gradually unwind stringent pandemic rules that have isolated the Asian financial hub. The measure will be effective from Friday, the city's leader John Lee told a news conference on Monday. Arrivals will need to self-monitor for a further 4 days, during which they will be forbidden to enter such premises as restaurants and bars. People in quarantine will be issued a red code on the government's mandated app, and this will change to a yellow code once they leave quarantine, signifying they may not enter crowded premises. Away from that scene, onto the sports scene, Manchester United boss Erik has defended his decision to play with a false 9 in Sunday's Premier League defeat to Brighton, while he refused to confirm a move for Marko Arnautovic. The Red Devils made the worst possible start to the Dutchman's reign at Old Trafford, going into half-time 2-0 down after a brace from Pascal Gross. Ten Hag had stated that the match with Christian Eriksen leading the line as a false 9, but shortly after the break, he pushed the Dane into a deeper role, sacrificed Fred and put Cristiano Ronaldo up top. United certainly improved, having the deficit via an own goal and created several opportunities to level the scores, though the Dutchman says it simply was not an option to start with a more recognized forward up top from the off. Asked in his post-match press conference if it was a mistake to start with Eriksen as a false 9, Ten Hag responded, "If he was available, that is the striker, I would have played him." And finally, Chelsea defender Thomas Tuchel has hinted he wants to sign a younger player to help replace his aging defense. The Blues have been heavily linked with a move for Leicester City defender Wesley Fofana, who is 21 years old, and Kalidou Koulibaly, who is 31. Thiago Silva, 37, started in Saturday's 1-0 win over Everton at Goodison Park. It is a lot of experience, and they have their quality, and they know what they are doing. We also need to make sure we have a new generation to take over in the next years, but the guys are strong. That is why they are on their contract, and the guys have our trust. Tuchel told reporters after the win on Merseyside via the Evening Standard. And that concludes the news updates on AFRICUNIA television. Do follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram.City, Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter in that respective order. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and also link us up on www.africunia.tv. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.